All right, algebra students, I am picking up on the same packet I left off on in video 23 part 1. You are tuned in to video number 23 part 2. So we are on page 59. We are looking at number 4. So after we did elimination in video 23 part 1, it's a little different. We're going to add one more step in from that video. So what we're going to do now is, if I look at the numbers in front of my x's and y's, I can't eliminate anything because the number in front of x's is not the same, so I definitely can't eliminate that. But then the number in front of my y's are both a -7. So I would need to make one of those a +7 in order to eliminate the y's. So what I'm going to do is I could multiply a -7 by a -1 to get to a +7, but I can't just do it to the -7y. I have to do it to the entire equation. So you could multiply the top equation by -1 if you wanted. I just chose the negative on the bottom. Doesn't matter. So now we're distributing that -1. So I have -1 times -4x, which is +4x. I have -1 times -7y, which is +7y. You also have to multiply by the 26. So -1 times 26 is -26. So I don't need to change anything about the top equation. That's going to stay exactly the same. So now that I've done that, I can eliminate the y values. So those will cancel out, and then we combine like terms. So 6x plus 4x will give me 10x. -4 plus -26 will give me a -30. I need to get x by itself, so I'm dividing each side by 10. So we get x equals -3. Remember, if we're finding a solution, we're finding a point of intersection. So I have my x value, now I need to find my y value. So I'm going to plug in -3 for x into either equation. I'm just going to choose my top equation. So where the x is, I'm substituting in the -3. And then we just solve this equation for y like we've been doing. So 6 times -3 is -18. I want everything without a y on the same side of my equal sign. So I need to move the 18. I'm going to do that by adding. So now I have -7y equals 18, or I should say -4 plus 18 will give me 14. I need to get y by itself, so I'm dividing each side by -7. So y equals -2. Remember, our final answer is to be written as a point, so x comes first, and then y. All right, we are moving from page 59 to page 60. So in taking a look at page 60, we're looking at number 5. So if I take a look at number 5, I don't have the same number in front of my x's or my y's. So you could do a couple different things. I could multiply the top one by a 2, because right now I have an invisible -1 here. In order to cancel, I would need a -2. So I'm multiplying -1 by a +2 in order to get a -2y. So I have 2 times 4x, which is 8x. 2 times -1y, which is -2y. And don't forget, you also have to multiply the 2 by the 6. Oops, and I didn't. Jeez Louise. I said it and then I didn't do it. 2 times 6 gives me 12. And then I don't need to change anything to the bottom equation, so I'm just rewriting that. So again, the reason I multiplied the top equation by 2 is because I had a -1 here. I needed it to be a -2 in order to get my y's to cancel. A -1 times 2 gave me that -2. So now that my y's cancel, I have 8x plus 3x, which is 11x. I have 12 plus 21, which is 33. I need to solve for x, so I'm dividing each side by 11. And we get x equals 3. Again, now that I have x, I need to find my y. So I'll use the bottom equation this time. So I'm using 3x plus 2y equals 21. Again, you can use the top equation, it doesn't matter. You should get the same answer, as long as you're putting 3 in for x. So I have 3 times 3 plus 2y equals 21. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. I want to solve for y, so I want everything without a y on the same side of my equal sign. So I'm going to subtract 9 from each side. So now I get 2y equals 12. Divide each side by 2. And y equals 6. And we're so close to being finished. We just have to write this as a point. So x comes first, and then y. All right, in number 6, it says what is the coordinate? So again, an x and a y value, or the two lines of the equations. Okay, so again, I don't have x or y alone, so I'm going to use elimination. So I'm going to stack my equations one on top of the other. 4x plus y equals -7. Okay, so when you're doing elimination, if you're checking your answers with a friend maybe, you don't have to use the same method. So we could get a positive 9 here by multiplying this whole bottom equation by 9. Or I could multiply 4 by what to get a -8, right? I would need a -8 in front of this x in order to cancel out my x's. So I could multiply this whole equation by -2. So you could multiply the equation by 9 in order to cancel out your y's, or once we do our distributive property, we're going to get a -8x, which will allow me to cancel out my x's. So then I have -2 times y is -2y. -2 times -7 is a positive 14. Just going to rewrite that top equation. My x is canceled, and now I'm combining my y's. So -9y plus -2y will give me a -11y. 19 plus 14 will give me 33. Dividing each side by -11, and we get y equals -3. So we were looking for a coordinate. So I have my y value, I now need my x value. I'm going to choose the bottom equation again. So 4x plus y equals -7. We just found that y equals -3. So I'm going to take a -3 and plug it in for this y. So 4x minus 3 equals -7. I'm solving for x, so I want everything without an x on the same side of my equal sign. So I'm adding 3 to each side. -7 plus 3 will give me -4. Divide each side by 4, and x equals -1. Almost done. Last step, write it as a point. So we have the point -1, -3 is the solution where your two lines intersect. All right, so that was page 60. We are going to page 61. All right, so on page 61, we have some word problems now. So this time in number 7 and number 8, they don't give us our equations. We have to come up with our equations. So number 7 says the sum of two numbers is 30. So if I don't know my two numbers, that's x. Sum means to add, so x plus y equals 30. It then says the sum of the greater number and 3 times the lesser number is 54. So we'll say the greater number is x, and 3 times the lesser number is 3y. Then it says is, which means equals 54. All right, so I help you set up number 7. I'm gonna help you also set up number 8. So number 8 says, shopping at Savers Mart, Lisa buys her children 4 shirts and 3 pairs of pants for $85.50. She returns the next day and buys 3 shirts and 5 pairs of pants for $115. What is the price of each shirt and each pair of pants? So they're asking us, or they're talking about the items they're discussing are shirts, which is my X, and pants, which is my Y. Just like when we were setting up those inequality problems, you have to make sure you're telling us what is your X and what is your Y. So my first equation is 4 shirts, so that's 4x, and 3 pairs of pants, so that's 3y. And it costs her $85.50. The next day, she bought 3 shirts, 3x, sorry, and 5 pairs of pants for $115. I don't need to put the 0, 0. So this one's a little bit different. So in this one, I don't have anything that I can multiply to get to the opposite number. So when that happens, you can simply just multiply both equations and you're just flipping the numbers that were in front. So I'm gonna multiply the top equation by 3 because that was what was in front of this x down here. I'm gonna multiply the bottom equation by 4 because that was what was in front of my x up here. And then I just make one of them a negative. Doesn't matter which one you wanna make a negative. So now we're gonna go and distribute the -3 to everything on the top. So if I do -3 times 4x, I would get -12x. And then -3 times 3y, I would get -9y. And don't forget, like I did last time, you still have to multiply by the number on the right of the equal sign. So -3 times 85.5 would give us -256.5. I'm now going to distribute the 4 to everything on the bottom set of parentheses. So 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times 5y is 20y. And 4 times 115 will give me 460. So, what we would like you to do now is finish page 61. So page 61, finish number 7 and 8. And then you're going to go to page 63. And you're going to do number 3. You also, on page 63, please make sure that you change that. It says -6y. Make sure you change that to -6x, please. So you're doing page 61, number 6 and 7. I'm sorry, finishing number 7 and 8. Then you're going to do page 63, number 3. Have a good day, everybody. Message us if you need to.